Good morning, welcome to Going to Ground on this Remembrance Sunday and a historic day, of course, across the world with the election of a new president in the United States. Rebecca and I stayed up to watch Joe Biden's victory speech, as some of you may also have done, and so are a little bleary this morning, but pray for the peace and unity and fresh hope for that great country. And today I'm going to read to you a piece that I've written for Remembrance Sunday for the Pewsey Daily Reflections. Pewsey's a small town not far from here, and the churches in Pewsey Deanery have, throughout the year, from the first lockdown onwards, produced a wonderful series of daily reflections. You can find them online, and they've been of great sustenance, not only to people locally, but they've reached overseas and have a strong following. So I'm going to read my contribution to you, which I was glad to be invited to write, and it arose from sorting through my late father's papers recently and discovering a letter which I'll read to you from his time serving with the Royal Engineers in India at the end of the war. And it appears to be from one of his commanding officers sending word of thanks for Dad's hospitality. Dated 21st of January 1945. This is it. And it begins. Dear Rumsey, the commanding officer of the 1st Command Rifles wrote to us sending his thanks for putting up his road parties on their way south. The MTO, Morgan, said you were all particularly helpful. The Brigadier feels the thanks are all due to you and adds his own for your assistance. Come and have a noggin soon. Yours, and then an indecipherable signature. Isn't that wonderful? There are only about half a dozen scraps of paper and letters from the war years that Dad kept. And my eyes immediately alighted on that delightful sign-off, come and have a noggin soon. Wonderful, certainly, because it comes from another age of clipped British cheerfulness, but also for what it represents, I think, for my father. As a young captain in a remote part of India, far from home, this quick note will have, I suspect, done a great deal. Indeed, as I say, it's one of only half a dozen letters he kept from the Second World War, and I may be wrong, but I think it will have said to him something like this. You are known and valued here in HQ. We're aware of your situation and have discussed it. You're not alone, and what's more, you can come and be with us whenever you like. And not only that, but have a noggin at the same time. Now, each of us needs to know that from our peers and superiors, of course. But I think at our deepest level, we also need to know it and hear it from God. We need to know that we're not forgotten, that God remembers us, appreciates our situation, and welcomes our presence, with or without a noggin. Like most such fragments, the letter betokens far more than its 2 paragraphs rattled off on a portable typewriter. It's a memento, bringing alive the past in the present with love and thanksgiving. The coincidence of Remembrance Sunday with All Saints' Tide is just that. No one planned for the armistice to fall in this season of recollection. But it feels, for this very reason, a providential and fitting thing, when we already have in mind those gone before us, saints and souls whose own example, bad and good, has formed the people we are today. In so many ways, we are what they have made or enabled us to be. Their gifts, their constraints, all that has been passed down, that is our inheritance. They are our inheritance. And when our loved ones die, it's so often the smallest mementos and scraps of experience that are by far the most meaningful, and to which we cling in the hope that all is not lost with their departing. So then, we're prepared for the poignancy of Remembrance Sunday with its plangent vow, we will remember them. Yet, like all promises, this one needs to be realised afresh. And in this sense, our past is, as the cultural historian David Lowenthal pointed out, not set in stone, but available for our recovery, always offering new perspectives on the present. If national remembrance is to live in these fragmented times, when the past indeed seems to be another country, we have to reclaim it as a roomy and hospitable place, not the property of any particular party or persuasion. Our key to unlocking remembrance is Christ himself, who at the Last Supper takes up some everyday fragments from the table and breaks and blesses them, saying, "Do this in remembrance of me." The biblical word used is anamnesis, which is far more than mere recollection, but a bringing back to life in the present en route to the future, a remembering, a putting back together. As the one who is, in the words of St. John, the first and the last and the living one, Christ is our hope, not just for memories of the past, but memories with a future. However masked by protocol and all the limits of this extraordinary season, we yet give thanks for those whose life was laid down for us, and the endlessly strengthening, cheering news that they and we are remembered in Christ. God bless you as you go to ground.